Welcome to the Declutter Diaries. I'm your host, Bonnie Hintonack with Bin Your Space. And with me, you'll meet Tina Wolf, a licensed therapist. We are going to explore the connection between your mental health and organizing and decluttering because it's a journey and we're on it too. Hi everyone, I'm Bonnie with Bin Your Space and welcome back to the Declutter Diaries. Today, we are talking about clutter blindness.
Those dreaded things that are sitting around all over the place that you don't really see.
But you do see. Okay, let's start with the suitcase on the stairs.
So, have you ever had that item in your house where it sits there and your intentions are to put it away, or maybe for those of you that live with someone, your intention is for them to put it away, and a month goes by and it's still there?
Oh,
So, coming home from vacation, set a suitcase on the steps. Asked my husband to take it upstairs and put it away in the attic. It sat on the step. It was like this challenge for me to see how long it was going to take him to move the suitcase from the steps. It was there for 11 days.
It could be worse. I thought you were going to say like 2 months, but 11 days is a long time for a suitcase to be in the middle of your stairs that you walk by up and down several times a day every day. It's interesting because the clutter blindness is a very real thing. I notice it with my husband. I notice it with clients. There was one client I had who had a lot of dog toys in her living space. I said, are there any dog toys that you would like to declutter or purge? And she was like, oh no, they use all of them. And I was thinking, all of them? Like even the ones that are buried under things? And I truly do not think she saw the toys there. She saw the toys that they are using, but not the ones that were stuffed together and like not being used. And I would pick one up and I said, oh, well, what about this one? She's like, oh, trash that, like get rid of that one. And it was broken, but she didn't see that before. She saw it once we had cleared a section of her living space. And once that was clear, she could actually then see that the dog toys, that not all of them were good to keep. So I feel like with clutter blindness, it's like you close your eyes to the clutter, but really I think it becomes so normal that people don't see it. So like what happens in someone's mind, do you think, when the clutter stays there, where you consider clutter and they might not, or like your husband passes the suitcase on the stairs 30 times a day? What happens there?
So for most people, I feel like it's just a habit of ignoring the things that you don't want to deal with. So the things that cause you strain, cause you stress, or, oh, I'll get to it later. It piles up and it becomes more and more and more visible to other people, but invisible to you. Because the thought of even processing through what you need to do with it, or where it needs to go, or having maybe even time to put it where it needs to go, is not something you can focus on at that moment.
And that makes sense. I've also seen like something else is happening that's more important. So you set it down and then you go and do that thing and you say, I'll come back to it later, when in reality, well, it's sitting there. It's not bothering anyone. So I'll just leave it there. So it's almost like, how do you get over that mindset block?
That's a really good question. I think for everybody, it's an individual thing. It's raising the level of awareness of just what's in your space. For me, my kitchen counters are like my sacred spot. Don't put anything on my kitchen counters. So a toaster.
That's how I am too. Please talk about a toaster.
You pull a toaster out and you sit it on the counter, and then you pull out the bread. And you have the bread bag sitting on the counter. And then you get a phone call from work because you're working from home, and the bread and the toaster stay. And you're caught up in work for several hours. And by that time, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The bread is still there. The toaster's still there. And it's time to start making dinner. So you push it off to the side. It stays there and you start making dinner. That makes me crazy, but only because I've taught myself that a clear space equates to a clear mind.
So 2 things to say. Number 1, I'm so glad I'm not the only one who hides my toaster.
Oh no, mine is in the Lazy Susan, and I think it's thanks to you, because when we originally did my kitchen, way back when, I was like, no, we use this every day, it has to stay on the counter. And I left it on the counter, but then it got to me because it was taking up space and it wasn't something that I needed there. So then it ended up finding a home on the Lazy Susan.
Because I put mine away in a deeper cabinet, well, one, we don't really buy bread anymore. We're not toasting things, but if we do, Ryan will like grill it almost in butter or whatever on the iron skillet for our breakfast sandwiches on Saturdays.
That sounds so much better than toasting a piece of bread and smearing hard butter on it.
It's way more technical.
So since I'm the mental health person and you're the declutter person,
yes,
I want to turn the table a little bit.
Oh no.
So when you first started this journey, how did your space change or your mental health in your space change when you started seeing things clear? How did seeing that clean space bring mental awareness to the feeling that it left with you?
So when I started decluttering, it was Christmas of 22.
All right, you know exactly when.
Yes, because Ryan gave me the 2 home edit books for Christmas, and what is interesting about that is I did not ask for them, but he knew I loved the home edit at the time, and that is when I really told him I'm gonna try to start my own business, Bin Your Space, and he was like, wow, well then I guess it's good that I gave you these for Christmas. It just was like meant to be. I read through both of their books and then I was like looking around, and now that I saw certain spots in my home, I can't unsee the clutter now. I need to do something about it. So it really was me just taking a moment, and also at the time I wasn't teaching anymore. So my brain had all this extra space I didn't know I had.
I love that. That giving your brain the extra space to think, to see. And we don't put enough weight on the calm. The sitting and the looking and the, like, almost like a, I hate to use the term mindful moment, but to sit in a space and just look around about how each area of it makes you feel.
Well, because we're so busy. We're busy going everywhere all the time. And so for me to not be working, so this is like in between teaching and starting my business, which was a really sweet season for me because it gave me an opportunity. Literally, I turned my house upside down. I was getting,
and mine.
And yours. Yes, that's also true. Because then I was doing content. And I was like, can I come play around with some organizing things at your house?
Yes, please.
So yeah, that's where this journey actually began. So I think me going through it and having that time to be still but busy with decluttering and like seeing it, I still want to declutter today. And I'm like, oh, that's too much. And Ryan is like, no, we're keeping the dresser. Okay, all right, we'll keep the dresser.
Ryan has come a long way.
Yeah.
Rick has not.
It's okay. We have a brick theory that we're going to be talking about in a couple episodes.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait for that. So in this episode, we really just want to come back to that idea of clutter blindness. And I guess for our listeners, like the challenge would be to really start noticing.
Sorry, have to add the mental health piece.
Please.
How did it make you feel when you recognized that space? Was it that, oh, that really needs to be fixed?
What's the opposite of that? Oh, never mind. I'll get to it later.
Yep, it can be there another day. It's all right. I've got this to do.
It's been there 800 days. What's 801 days? I just had a client the other day that said her car had been cluttered for 800 days. She had 32 stuffed animals, 8 jackets. Look at your face.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. My jaw is dropped. Because I get crazy if a leaf comes off the bottom of my shoe and is on my floor mat for too long in my car. All right, so we're one extreme to the other.
A leaf. Oh, that's true though, because I do know when there's a leaf and I'm like, oh, I just vacuumed. Now I gotta vacuum again.
Exactly.
But that's my OCD coming out. So anyway, in our next episode, we're gonna be talking about the crazy clutter cycle. So if you have questions or you want to share your story, email me, Bonnie@binyourspace.com, and we can't wait to see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.